When George Orwell sat down to write the greatest novel of his life, he was gravely ill, suffering from tuberculosis, and his financial situation was dire. Furthermore, he was writing on a subject so controversial that there was significant doubt as to whether anyone would ever publish it. Yet he found immense joy in writing this story. Driven by this passion, he ignored every obstacle and sat in his secluded cottage amidst the rain, weaving the web of a novel that would one day shake the world. Eventually, the book was finished. Proving his suspicions right, no one wanted to publish it. Almost all of Orwell's regular publishers, including Faber and Faber, informed him they would not take it on. Between 1943 and 1944, when Orwell was trying to get the book out, the world had witnessed the horrors of World War II. The book was extremely politically sensitive. At that time, the political map of Europe was shifting, and the Soviet Union had become a crucial ally for the Western powers against Hitler's Nazi Germany. Much of the Western world viewed Soviet leader Joseph Stalin as a great and reliable ally. However, beneath Stalin's regime lay a terrifying autocracy involving genocide, political purges, the suppression of dissent, and the distortion of history. Although Orwell was a socialist himself, he was staunchly against Stalin's tyrannical behavior. He realized that the change promised in the name of the Russian Revolution had in reality become another form of power where exploitation returned under the guise of equality. This was why publishers were reluctant to print the novel. But Orwell was not one to give up. He was determined to publish it. After months of pitching to various houses, he finally published it through a firm called Secker and Warburg. Needless to say, its publication ignited a storm of controversy. While some loved the novel, others dismissed it outright. The book was banned in several countries, including America, initially, Russia, Britain, and Kenya. In a twist of irony, the CIA later acquired the rights to the book to produce their first animated film as a tool for Cold War propaganda. Since then, references to this book have appeared repeatedly, from Pink Floyd to The Simpsons and BoJack Horseman. First published in 1945, the book remains just as relevant 70 years later as it was on its first day. This is the book where George Orwell wrote that famous line, "All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others." What is it about Animal Farm that keeps people talking about it even today? Why does it still spark intense debate? What is written in this novel that continues to grip the human mind? Why is it ranked at the very top of the world's most influential books? And why does it remain a source of great discomfort for rulers? One of Orwell's primary objectives in writing this book was to satirize Soviet communism, specifically focusing on how Stalin betrayed the Russian Revolution. But to assume the novel is limited to only that would be a grave mistake. Beneath the veil of metaphor, the book explores human nature, betrayed revolutions, the psychology of power, social mechanisms, and the various narratives of dictatorship. This is precisely why, with the passage of time, it has become a timeless classic. True to its title, the novel is set on a farm called Manor Farm. The owner, Mr. Jones, had been subjecting his animals to terrible injustice for years. When the animals were pushed to the brink by this extreme oppression, a wise old pig named Major emerged as their beacon of hope. He urged the animals to protest, calling on everyone to unite and rise up against the human. Mr. Jones. Needless to say, his words worked. The animals launched a coordinated attack, and faced with a sudden revolution, Jones fled the farm. Subsequently, the farm was renamed Animal Farm. The days immediately following the revolution were quite good. New policies and plans were made with the animals' rights in mind, and work began to implement them. However, that phase lasted only a short while. Suddenly one day, everyone discovered that leadership had gradually shifted to a fierce pig named Napoleon, whose leadership style was much like the former owner, Mr. Jones. Napoleon cannot tolerate dissent. If anyone dares to offer a differing opinion, he sets his pack of trained attack dogs on them. These dogs suppress dissent through violent, bloody attacks. Meanwhile, Napoleon is joined by a group of other pigs as his accomplices, whose primary job is to keep everyone in a state of constant fear. They spend their days lounging and eating excessively while torturing the common animals. Those who actually do the hard labor spend their days starving without food. Their lives, instead of improving after the revolution, begin to turn out even worse than before in many respects. On the other hand, there is no use talking to the ruler Napoleon. For some strange reason, he listens to no one except his own inner circle. He sees no one and speaks to no one. Two important characters in this novel are the horses, Boxer and Clover. They are incredibly hardworking. They toil day and night, firmly believing that the revolution cannot be a lie. They believe that the current troubles are only temporary and that things must eventually change. But things do not change. Under Napoleon's leadership, the group of pigs continues to oppress the common animals. Eventually, they even enter into an alliance with the humans. The common animals are shocked to discover that the very enemies they revolted against are returning to the farm in a new form. This is the most significant insight of Animal Farm. There is no country on the world map where people cannot find similarities between their surroundings and this novel. In this age of dictatorship, misleading narratives, and mass surveillance, Animal Farm ceases to be just a novel and becomes a living allegory of our times. The world of Animal Farm demonstrates very clearly how a revolution can be hijacked. When the ideals that united the animals to drive out Mr. Jones begin to fade from their lives, their sighs of despair echo the sighs of many failed revolutions throughout history. There is no shortage of examples around us where revolutionaries themselves gradually turn into autocrats after gaining power. Animal Farm provides a crucial insight into how language can become a tool for manipulation. Squealer, the follower of the dictator Napoleon, was a master propagandist. He was adept at twisting words, using technical jargon, and spreading misleading narratives to trap opponents. This is why we see the post-revolution slogan of Animal Farm become, "All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others." If you look closely, even in recent times, propaganda, media spinning, fake news, and greenwashing are alive and well. It proves that the squealers of the world remain present at every turn of history. Beyond all this, the most terrifying thing Animal Farm does is brutally expose the psychology of the oppressed. I mentioned the hard-working horse, Boxer, earlier. Boxer essentially represents us, those who are repeatedly exploited but continue to hope that the situation will change one day. He believes that whatever the ruler does must be right. This novel clearly highlights how common people are often helpless, fearful, and politically unaware. Average people who just want to live in peace, yet in that very process, they gradually become objects of the ruler's exploitation. In many ways, it feels suffocating, and thus Boxer becomes the representative of ordinary people all over the world. Through the fate of Boxer, Animal Farm subtly demonstrates that tyranny does not survive through violence alone. It thrives on people's fear, ignorance, and the failure to ask questions. The ending of Animal Farm elevates the novel to a whole new height. It depicts the tyrannical pigs sitting together with humans, playing cards and celebrating. At that moment, the common animals of the farm can no longer distinguish between the pigs and the humans. To them, both appear identical. This final outcome of the novel essentially conveys that no matter who holds power, the exploitation carried out by all rulers is fundamentally the same kind of horrific.